Welcome to Motivational Humanity. You are not alone.
What if the people who seem to vanish from your life aren't running away from anyone? What if they're actually running towards something they finally found the courage to hear, their own voice? Think about a candle in a windy room. Every time someone opens a door, the flame flickers, bends, nearly goes out. But the moment that door finally closes, the flame stops fighting. It grows still. It grows tall. It burns steady and bright, exactly as it was always meant to. That is what happens inside a person the moment they stop performing for everyone around them. Have you ever found yourself leaving a group chat on read for 3 days without meaning to? Have you ever canceled plans, not because you were tired, but because something in your chest just resisted? Have you ever sat in a room full of people who love you and still felt like you were the only one there? If any of that sounds like you, I want you to know something before we go any further. You are not broken, and you are not becoming cold. You may be in the middle of the quietest, most important transformation of your life. In this video, we're going to walk through the real psychological reasons why emotionally aware people slowly, gently, and almost invisibly begin to pull back from the world around them, and why the very last reason is the one that changes how you see every relationship you've ever had. #awareness rewrites what you see. The first reason has nothing to do with ego and everything to do with perception. Most people watch the world go by. Emotionally aware people eventually start reading it. In the beginning, everything feels effortless. You laugh at the jokes, you trust the compliments, you take conversations at face value because you've never had a reason to do anything else. Then, slowly, something shifts. You start noticing the half-second delay before someone answers a question they didn't want asked. You start noticing the friend who only texts you at midnight when their own life has gone quiet. You start noticing the coworker who claps loudest for you in the meeting and says something different about you the moment you leave the room. Psychologists call this a rise in social pattern recognition. The more emotional data your brain has collected over the years, every small betrayal, every quiet act of loyalty, every mismatch between someone's words and their actions, the faster your mind begins connecting dots that used to feel invisible. And once your brain learns how to see those patterns, there is no going back. You cannot unnotice them. People don't look different, but suddenly they feel different. This is where the distance quietly begins. Not because emotionally aware people stop caring about others, but because they stop mistaking attention for connection. They start asking a harder, more honest question. Does this relationship actually see me, or does it just need me? And once that question enters your mind, you naturally become more careful about who gets access to your time, your energy, and your heart. Not out of bitterness, out of self-respect. But here's where the story gets more interesting than most people expect. The world gets loud and they get tired. Emotionally aware people don't pull away because solitude feels exciting. They pull away because noise finally starts to feel unbearable. Picture this. Imagine your mind is a phone with 40 apps running in the background at once. Every conversation, every social post, every group text is another tab open, quietly draining your battery, even the ones that seem harmless. Research on emotional processing suggests that highly self-aware individuals often spend significantly more mental energy analyzing tone, subtext, and social dynamics than the average person realizes. While others simply hear the words being spoken, aware people are simultaneously tracking body language, hesitation, and the emotional current underneath it all. That means a 2-hour dinner with friends isn't just a 2-hour dinner. It's 2 hours of quiet emotional translation happening in real time. So a conversation that used to feel thrilling now feels like static. A friendship that once felt warm now feels one-sided, like you're the only one checking the temperature. Even a room full of people can start to feel strangely, achingly empty. This does not mean emotionally aware people believe they're better than everyone else. It means they've simply stopped finding nourishment in shallow interaction. The question in their mind quietly changes from, how many people know me, to who actually understands me? And that single shift in a person's inner question can shrink their circle down to almost nothing. Not because they were rejected, but because they finally stopped settling. That's why, from the outside, it can look like someone vanished overnight. But the truth is, they had been slowly releasing the wrong relationships for months, sometimes years, long before anyone noticed the empty seat at the table. If this is starting to feel personal, if you're recognizing pieces of your own story in this video right now, do me one favor. Type the words "I see it now" in the comments below. I read every single one, and I want to know I'm not just talking to a camera. I'm talking to you. #. They stop taking other people's reactions personally. There's an idea in psychology, echoed by thinkers going back generations, that until a person becomes aware of what is happening inside their own mind, they will keep experiencing their inner world as if it were simply the way life is, as fate, rather than as something shaped by their own unexamined patterns. Emotionally aware people eventually arrive at a strikingly similar realization about the people around them. They begin to understand that most people are not reacting to reality. They are reacting to their own unresolved fears, insecurities, and emotional wounds. The relative who criticizes your career choices may secretly be grieving a life they never gave themselves permission to build. The friend who constantly talks over you in conversation may never have learned that being heard doesn't require winning. The partner who demands constant reassurance may simply be terrified, deep down, of being forgotten. Once you start seeing these emotional patterns clearly, something remarkable happens. You stop taking everything so personally. You stop pouring your energy into trying to fix people who never asked to be fixed. Instead, you start protecting your own inner world the way you'd protect anything precious and fragile. This isn't emotional distance. This is emotional intelligence. The ability to understand your own feelings and the feelings of others without allowing either one to hijack your decisions. That is exactly why emotionally aware people don't respond to every argument. They don't answer every message the second it arrives. They don't chase every relationship that starts to fade. Not because they've stopped caring, but because they've learned a hard truth. Every yes to the wrong person is quietly a no to their own peace. #. They fall in love with clarity, not loneliness. Here's the biggest misunderstanding people make about those who slowly withdraw. The world assumes they enjoy being alone because they've grown to dislike other people. The truth is almost the exact opposite. They don't fall in love with loneliness. They fall in love with clarity. Imagine walking out of a concert hall after hours of loud music and stepping into a quiet parking lot at midnight. For a moment, the silence feels almost too big. And then, slowly, your ears adjust, and you can finally hear your own footsteps again. That's what solitude becomes for someone who has spent years absorbing everyone else's noise. For the first time, silence doesn't feel like punishment. It becomes a place where they can finally hear their own thoughts without the static of other people's expectations layered on top. Modern psychological research consistently shows that intentional, healthy solitude, not isolation, but chosen stillness, can meaningfully improve self-reflection, emotional regulation, and long-term decision-making. That's why so many emotionally aware people no longer fear time alone. Instead of using solitude to escape the world, they use it to rebuild themselves. They read more. They think more deeply. They start questioning beliefs they inherited instead of automatically absorbing everyone else's opinions. And slowly, something powerful happens. They stop needing approval from people who never truly understood them in the first place. Because real confidence was never built from applause. It's built from self-respect. That is the moment their whole internal compass shifts. The question changes from, how do I fit in? To, does this life actually reflect who I really am? And once that question takes root in someone's heart, there is no going back to who they were before. To everyone watching from the outside, it looks like they disappeared. But in reality, they finally stopped disappearing from themselves. #, the final truth. Here is what changes everything. Emotionally aware people rarely vanish overnight. They disappear one quiet realization at a time. 1 week, they stop arguing with people who already decided not to understand them. Another month, they stop chasing friendships that only show up when it's convenient. Then, without any announcement, without any dramatic goodbye, They begin quietly building a life that no longer depends on constant approval. To the outside world, it looks sudden. But inside, that decision has usually been growing for months, sometimes for years. And this is where most people get the story completely wrong. They assume aware people become distant because they think they're better than everyone else. In reality, they've simply become more intentional about where they spend their limited time, their limited energy, and their limited attention. Because your time is limited. Your emotional energy is limited. And the people you surround yourself with are quietly, silently shaping the person you're becoming. So if you've recently found yourself stepping back from certain people, I want to leave you with one question. Not, am I becoming cold? But something far more important. Are you running away from people? Or are you finally walking toward the life that was always meant to be yours? Sometimes the people who seem to disappear aren't lost at all. They're finally found. And maybe, just maybe, that's exactly where your next chapter begins. If this video helped you see yourself, or someone you love, a little more clearly today, I want you to do 3 things for me before you go. First, subscribe to Motivational Humanity, because we release new videos like this one every single day, and I don't want you to miss the next one. Second, hit that like button. It takes 2 seconds, and it tells me you want more of this in your life. And third, I want you to scroll down right now and tell me in the comments, have you ever quietly disappeared from someone's life, or has someone disappeared from yours? I read every comment, and I would be honored to hear your story. Until next time, keep questioning, keep growing, and keep protecting your peace. I am reclaiming my peace.